Robert Cosby Jr., the 23-year-old son of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Mary Cosby, has tragically passed away, and the news has sent shockwaves through the reality television world and far beyond it. What began as quiet whispers circulating online quickly turned into confirmed heartbreak for a family that viewers have watched for years. A family whose faith, struggles, complicated dynamics, and very personal battles unfolded in front of millions of people. Now, that ongoing story has taken a devastating and irreversible turn. For longtime viewers of the show, this doesn't feel like distant celebrity news. It feels personal. Audiences watched Robert Jr. grow from a background presence into a central emotional storyline. They witnessed uncomfortable conversations, tense silences, and deeply vulnerable admissions. They saw a mother trying to hold on to her son while the world watched. And today, that journey has ended in tragedy. The loss of a child is something no parent is ever prepared for, no matter their fame, wealth, or faith. And for Mary Cosby, a woman known for her bold personality, her sharp words, her controversial moments, and her unwavering spiritual beliefs, this chapter is no longer about reality TV drama. It is about unimaginable grief. It is about the kind of pain that silences even the most outspoken voices. Robert Cosby Jr. was just 23 years old. 23, an age where life is still forming, still shifting, still full of unfinished dreams. He was still navigating adulthood, still trying to carve out an identity beyond his mother's spotlight, still wrestling with the same confusion, pressure, and uncertainty that so many young adults face, but with cameras sometimes capturing his lowest moments. Reports surrounding his passing describe emergency responders being called after he was found unresponsive. Despite efforts to save him, he could not be revived. While official details are still being clarified publicly, early indications suggest substance use may have been involved, a painful possibility that makes the situation even more sobering, given his very public history with addiction and mental health struggles. For viewers of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Robert Jr. was never just Mary's son. He became part of the emotional fabric of the show. He appeared in scenes that were not glamorous or entertaining in the typical reality TV sense. They were raw, uncomfortable, honest. There were moments when he openly admitted experimenting with substances at a young age. He spoke about dependency. He acknowledged feeling lost. In one particularly emotional conversation, he described feeling overwhelmed in ways that were difficult even for him to articulate. Mary, sitting across from him in some of those scenes, often looked torn between strength and heartbreak. She prayed with him, she cried in confessionals, she expressed guilt, frustration, confusion, and fierce love, sometimes in the same episode. Viewers saw a mother trying everything she knew how to do: faith, discipline, encouragement, confrontation. And still, addiction can be stronger than love alone. There were periods when Robert Jr. seemed hopeful. He would appear more alert, more engaged. There were glimpses of laughter, moments where he talked about wanting to do better, wanting to change. Those moments now feel haunting in hindsight, because when someone appears to be fighting, when there are flashes of light breaking through the darkness, you hold on to that hope. Families cling to it. Fans root for it. And when that hope is suddenly gone, the grief becomes layered with disbelief. Over the past few years, Robert Jr.'s legal troubles also became part of the public narrative. Arrests, court appearances, probation, each headline adding another layer of concern. For some viewers, these were cautionary tales. For others, they were signs of a young man spiraling. And for many, they were cries for help hidden behind legal language. Addiction is not linear. Recovery is rarely clean or simple. It is filled with setbacks, relapses, promises, progress, and sometimes devastating reversals. Families ride that roller coaster with their loved one. One week brings optimism, the next brings fear. And through it all, there is exhaustion, emotional exhaustion that only those who have lived through it truly understand. Mary Cosby has always leaned heavily on her faith. Her spiritual identity has been central to her public persona and private life. She often spoke about believing that God would guide her son back to stability. She framed his struggles through a lens of prayer and spiritual warfare. At times, she expressed guilt, wondering if she had missed signs or failed to intervene strongly enough. At other times, she defended him fiercely, pushing back against criticism and online commentary. Now, in the wake of his passing, that faith appears to be her anchor. In a statement shared publicly, Mary and her husband expressed that their son had been called home and that they are finding comfort in believing he is at peace. The language reflects both heartbreak and surrender, the kind of surrender that sometimes comes when grief is too heavy to carry without spiritual grounding. The Bravo community has responded with an outpouring of support. Cast members, both current and former, have shared condolences. Production has reportedly paused to allow space for mourning. Social media has been flooded with tributes, prayers, candle emojis, and long messages from fans who feel connected to this family after years of watching their lives unfold on screen. What makes this story especially powerful is how it pulls back the curtain on reality television. The luxury homes, the designer fashion, the extravagant parties, none of it shields a family from addiction or mental health crises. Fame does not protect against pain. If anything, it magnifies it. Struggling privately is one thing. Struggling publicly with viewers analyzing your every move adds another layer of pressure that most people will never experience. Robert Jr.'s journey also highlights a much larger issue, the ongoing crisis of substance abuse among young adults. Across the country, families are facing similar fears. Parents stay awake at night waiting for a text that never comes. Siblings feel helpless watching someone they love drift further away. Friends wonder if they should say more, do more, intervene differently. Addiction does not discriminate. It does not care about last names or television platforms. There's also the mental health component: depression, anxiety, feelings of isolation, struggles that often intertwine with substance use. When someone feels lost or disconnected, substances can become a temporary escape, but that escape often deepens the darkness, and the cycle becomes harder to break. For viewers who watched Robert Jr. on television, certain scenes now feel heavier. The quiet tension, the distant expressions, the moments when Mary seemed both angry and terrified at the same time. Those scenes were once part of a storyline. Now they feel like fragments of a tragedy that was unfolding in real time. Mary Cosby has always been a polarizing figure. She has faced criticism, controversy, and intense scrutiny. But in this moment, none of that matters. Grief levels everything. What remains is not a reality TV personality, but a mother who has lost her son. The online reaction has also sparked conversations about compassion. It is easy to judge from behind a screen. It is easy to comment on someone else's parenting, someone else's choices, someone else's family dynamics. But tragedies like this remind us that behind every viral clip is a real person. Behind every dramatic episode is a family living with consequences long after the cameras stop rolling. Many fans have shared their own stories in response to the news. Stories of siblings lost to addiction, of children in recovery, of parents navigating similar fears. In that sense, Robert Jr.'s life and passing have become part of a broader dialogue about awareness, stigma, and empathy. 23 years old is so young. It's an age associated with beginnings, not endings. Careers are just starting, relationships are forming, independence is taking shape. When a life ends at 23, it leaves a profound sense of unfinished chapters, dreams unrealized, apologies unsaid, forgiveness that may have been in progress. For Mary and her family, the grief will not be measured in headlines. It will be measured in everyday moments, holidays that feel incomplete, birthdays that carry silence, rooms that echo differently. The public may eventually move on. News cycles always do. But for a family, the absence becomes part of daily life. There's also the complex reality of grieving while being a public figure. Even as the family mourns privately, public speculation continues. social media debates unfold. Opinions are shared. Navigating profound loss under a microscope is a burden few can comprehend. And yet, amid the noise, there has been a clear thread of support. Many viewers have expressed that whatever they may have thought about Mary in the past, she deserves grace in this moment. Critics have quieted. Empathy has taken center stage. Addiction impacts not just the individual, but everyone around them. It reshapes family dynamics. It creates cycles of hope and heartbreak. And when tragedy strikes, it often leaves behind layers of guilt, the haunting what-ifs that no one can answer. What if I had pushed harder? What if I had said something differently? What if I had been there that night? Those questions rarely bring peace. In the coming weeks, more details may emerge. There may be memorials, there may be tributes, there may even be conversations on the show if and when production resumes. But right now, the dominant feeling is shock, the kind of shock that makes everything else seem insignificant. This moment also forces a broader reflection on how we talk about addiction and mental health. Stigma can silence people. Shame can prevent them from seeking help. Judgment can push struggles further into hiding. When stories like this become public, they carry weight. They can either reinforce fear or encourage understanding. The response from communities matters. For young viewers watching this unfold, it is a reminder to check in with friends, to take mental health seriously, to speak up when something feels wrong. And for parents, it is a reminder that love, while powerful, sometimes needs to be paired with professional intervention, medical support, and structured treatment. Robert Cosby Jr.'s life was layered and complex. It included moments of joy and vulnerability, conflict and connection. It unfolded partially in front of cameras, but much of it remained private, as it should. No television audience can fully grasp the entirety of someone's internal battle. As the Bravo world processes this loss, it becomes clear that this story goes beyond reality television. It touches on universal themes: the fierce love between parent and child, the fear of losing someone to addiction, the hope for redemption, the devastation of grief. There is no dramatic conclusion that can make this story feel complete. There is only a family mourning, a community reflecting, and a sobering reminder of how fragile life is. If this tragedy teaches anything, it is the importance of compassion. Compassion for those struggling. Compassion for families navigating impossible situations. Compassion for ourselves when we face pain we cannot control. As updates continue to unfold, many will watch to see how Mary moves forward. Whether she chooses privacy or continues sharing her journey publicly, it will be shaped by a grief that few can truly understand. For now, the focus remains on honoring a life that ended far too soon and extending empathy to a mother and family facing their darkest hour.